I want to address one of the comments made by a viewer to my video about that, allowing long-range strikes into deep into Russia is a very bad idea. It could lead to a nuclear war. And the comment was essentially, meh, you know, uh, we've crossed all their other red lines and they've done nothing. So essentially, why would they do anything now? Well, again, they'll do nothing until they do. And for that, I'll use an example of World War II. Now Hitler comes into power. He reoccupies the Rhineland, remilitarizes, breaks the Treaty of Versailles restrictions on the size of his military, starts building, battle cruisers, submarines, tanks, and everything else like that. Allies do nothing. Um, he takes the he does the Sudetenland in Czechoslovakia. Allies do nothing. The Anschluss, he basically merges with Austria. The Allies do nothing. He takes the rest of Czechoslovakia. The Allies do nothing. So he figures, hey, I can do whatever I want. So I'm going to invade Poland, and after that, I'm probably going to go off to Russia because Mein Kampf, he always talks about Lebensraum, living space in the East. So nowhere in Mein Kampf, he talks about having a war, another war with the Western Allies, the British and the French. It's all about the East, going after the Slavs because they're inferior and all that. So he goes after Poland, figuring the Allies aren't going to do anything, but the Allies this time do declare war. Now, they must admit they're kind of caught by surprise, and the French mobilization scheme is pretty archaic, more suited for World War One than World War Two. By the time they start getting going and do a little, pathetic little offensive into Saar, the Poles have been defeated. So at that point, it was, oops, okay, I guess we have to go back to our Maginot Line. So the French retreat back to Maginot Line. So it kind of looks like that nothing really much happened. But however, now he's at war with the French and the British. So he can't just keep going into Russia, which is probably what he wanted to do to get all that living space. Plus, he hated communism. So now he has to go invade France and the lowlands and basically, fight the British and stuff like that. He wins. Okay, again, for various reasons, have nothing to do with the personal courage of the French army, just the personal incompetence of French leadership in that aspect of it. So now he's kind of delayed with that. Meanwhile, the Russians invade Finland. They barely win just by sheer weight of numbers, but they learned a lot of hard lessons. That their army was pretty inept, their leadership was inept. They didn't have any proper winter training and winter clothing, so they have time to basically start getting their own act in order. If he had invaded then before they learned these lessons from Finland, he likely could have won, could have defeated the Russians in World War II. So then, of course, he then fights the Battle of Britain because he thinks he needs to invade England, loses the Battle of Britain, loses a good chunk of his air force in the process, can't invade England. Now he has to go off to try and fight the Russians. Meanwhile, he's actually has to bail out the Italians and a few other places like that, and basically has to divert forces into North Africa. So that weakens his attack to Russia. So because now the Allies are still around, they're fighting the Germans in North Africa. They're basically getting ready for D-Day and all that other stuff later down the line. But he's tied up with that. They're bombing him all the time. So now he's got a two-front war. That is because he assumed the Allies would keep doing nothing until they did something. And this is, I think, the situation we face with Russia. Sure, they've been very patient, and we mistake patience for weakness. That's very much a Western mindset. However, one day we will, just like a human being can snap, or somebody who's mild and meek can snap and go on and just murder somebody. So can one day the Russians just snap and just press the red button, and northern hemisphere is cremated. Uh, so are we wanting to take that risk? Do we want to keep poking the bear or the dragon when it comes to our issues with China until somebody snaps and then we have World War III? Or is it better to try and you know, not do anything? And besides, long-range missile strikes in Russia will not change the situation on the ground no more than the V1 and V2 missiles fired at England during 44 and 45 changed anything on the ground as far as saving Germany from defeat in World War II. So yeah, all you'll do is just anger the Russians. You won't change the situation on the ground, and you're increasing the risk of nuclear war. So that's what I think. Please comment below what you think and subscribe and like. Bye for now.